Good morning, it's Michael with Mend Yourself. And this morning I'm going to talk a little bit about what if you are too tired to exercise, to work out, to achieve some of these goals that you're setting for yourself, and you just find yourself too tired, not enough energy, and this type of thing. So I'm going to just talk briefly about there's probably two reasons that you're too tired. One is because you are possibly just not getting enough sleep. You're not resting enough. You're not decompressing in a healthy enough way in adequate amounts, including sleeping. So maybe some of the things that you're doing to decompress are actually preventing you from getting good sleep or enough sleep. Say, for instance, you are drinking a few glasses of wine or a few drinks before you go to bed at night. So this is causing you to not get good quality sleep just because of the alcohol. Or maybe you're staying up a little too late watching TV, this type of thing. So one consideration is to just kind of simplify your life, and when you make your health a priority, then hopefully what will happen is you'll simplify some of these things some of these behaviors that have caused you to be in a situation of being less than optimal health, and you will it'll just be easier for you to get on that path. So some of this occurs through the journaling and through awareness and through transition and preparedness and observation of yourself, and just creating a better plan and a simpler plan and being able to implement that. So those are just some of the suggestions that I offer in some of my other videos, and that if we're working together in like a client coach relationship, then these are some of the things that we will review. Another consideration is that you may be depressed, or you may have some kind of a psychological reason that you feel tired or not motivated to accomplish these things. And I'll give an example of me as a young man. So I'm 43 now, so let's say it's probably around 20 years ago. It's probably around 23. And I was a casino dealer. I worked mostly nights, so my sleep schedule was suboptimal, to say the least. I was probably not getting to sleep till 3 or 4 in the morning every night, just because of those are the hours that I worked. And then also at the same time, as a young person, I really didn't have all of the tools that I have now as far as creating a healthy life. And this includes psychologically. So what was happening was, even if I slept adequately in spurts, so say I slept not enough 3 or 4 days in a row, and then I slept 12 hours 2 days in a row, I still felt, even those days where I had adequate sleep, that I was excessively tired. At the same time, at this point in my life, I was kind of in a stressful relationship at the time, and I had financial issues, and there were just a lot of different components of my life that I had a lot of stress with, that I didn't realize how much the stress was affecting me. So what happened was, I just always felt exceptionally exhausted and tired, and just like I couldn't even keep my eyes open sometimes at work. On break, I'd have to go sleep for like 20 minutes at a time. And what I did was I went to the doctor, and at this point, there was a lot of books and information coming out about chronic fatigue and chronic fatigue syndrome. And I was convinced that I had chronic fatigue syndrome. So I went to a doctor, and they were like, I don't know if you have chronic fatigue syndrome, he said, you know. So I went to a different doctor and a different doctor, and I think by like the third doctor said, yes, I agree, you have chronic fatigue syndrome. And I'm like, finally, because I was so frustrated. I was just like, what's wrong with me? You know, a lot of times we just want to put a label on it. We just want to figure out what it is, and that way at least we can justify that, hey, something is wrong. So yes, finally I had a diagnosis. I have chronic fatigue syndrome. So what does that mean, and what should I do? You know? So I at that point I had started reading a lot about self-help, and I got a few books on chronic fatigue syndrome, read some articles on it, and so I'm reading these books about chronic fatigue syndrome, and it says chronic fatigue syndrome can cause depression. And I'm like, yes, I knew that I was depressed, and I'm just like, you know, or I felt depressed, and because of the frustration I had because of this chronic fatigue, and I'm just like, so then I started reading books on some. I thought, yeah, I'm getting answers now. So then I started reading books on depression, and part of the one symptom of depression is chronic fatigue. So the more I read books on depression, the more I realized I don't have depression because I have chronic fatigue syndrome. I have chronic fatigue because I'm depressed. And that was the beginning of the big journey for me. And the reason I'm sharing this story is because this is just all part of learning, becoming who you are, and trying to figure out why you feel the way you feel, why you do the things that you do. And for me, the reason I was sleeping so much and felt depressed was because I was depressed. So then I started figuring out, well, what do you do if you're depressed? Uh, but it's not the entire thing. So what you have is behavior modification, diet modification, stress modification, exercise, therapy, and then potentially medication. Not necessarily exactly in that order, uh, but all of these are components. So when you look at mend yourself with moving, education, nourishment, decompression, what you have is basically a way to elevate yourself out of a psychological dysfunction and a life dysfunction. If you are depressed and have anxiety and panic and emotional disorder, it may not be because of that something's wrong with you. It just may be that maybe some of the choices and the positions that you are in your life are causing you to feel distressed because your life is in distress. So behavior modification is moving yourself, and it's decompressing yourself. Diet modification is nourishing yourself. Thought modification is educating yourself, and even to consider therapy. So decompression is all of these things. So mending yourself is not just something to put you in a better state of physical health. It's to put you in a better state of life, and it's just kind of the building blocks of what you need to do to have a good, wholesome, healthy well-being. So if you're feeling too tired to get out of bed to go do these things, one of the first things that you need to figure out is, and this is why I recommend the journaling, is to start thinking about, well, what are these things? Am I too tired because of what's going on? And where can I start? You know, where is the starting point with this? And the starting point, you're probably not too tired to pick up a pencil. You may not be motivated. You may not be convinced that that's an important thing to do, uh, but really it is. You know, and just basically start from there. You know, change your diet a little bit, sleep a little bit better, decompress in healthier ways, take walks instead of watching TV, and just baby steps. This is, going to be a lifelong process. You're going to have to manage your own life. You're going to have to manage making good decisions, because if you don't make good decisions and you don't figure out how to do this, then you're going to have repercussions and you're going to reap the cumulative effects of the bad decisions. So part of mending yourself is creating a simple, better system to manage your life. And this video went a little longer than I wanted it to, but anyway, I just wanted to talk about this. So mend yourself, move, educate, nourish, decompress, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.